Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite pirate crew. Today we're going to be talking about Luffy finding out that Mihawk captured Garp. If you'd like to see more about One Piece in our channel, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to join our pirate crew. But pirates, before we continue with the video, I ask that you already subscribe to the channel. That way you could join the pirate crew, earn a devil fruit, or master your favorite hockey. It would also mean a great big deal of help if you did leave your thumbs up in today's video, so that we together could become Yonkos. Okay, finally, we can move on to the good stuff. Now that the times are about to change in the history of One Piece, we'll be seeing not only a great evolution in the era of the pirates, but also seeing them pay back in kind for all they've been through at the hands of the Navy themselves. In particular, we have observed such changes. One of the biggest is certainly the conflict generated between the Cross Guild and the Navy, as this first organization of pirates joined together to create rewards for their heads and generate a big mess on and off the seas. Could we have an even bigger showdown over the commanders and admirals? Could we see Mihawk, one of the founders of the Cross Guild, confronting and capturing some important character in the Navy? Let's talk about the possibility of that in this video. Dracula, Falcon Eyes Mihawk is the world-famous pirate who holds the title of the world's strongest swordsman. He was one of the 7 warlords of the sea, the first revealed and formally introduced until the dissolution of the group. In the past, Mihawk was known as the Navy Hunter and was reputed to be the rival of Shanks, one of the 4 emperors. His place of residence was Kuregana Island, on which he served during the 2-year time skip as master of Roanoir Zoro in his fencing training. Alongside the former Shichibukai Crocodile, Mihawk created an organization known as the Cross Guild, with Buggy of the 4 emperors acting as the organization's representative leader. Due to his status and title, Mihawk is seen by Zoro as the final obstacle to realizing his dream of becoming the strongest swordsman in the world. Mihawk can be considered a supporting antagonist in the Bharati arc, and one of the main antagonists in the Marineford arc, where he participated in the Great Marineford War alongside the Marines, along with most of the other Shichibukais of the sea. The Cross Guild is a powerful organization headed by 3 former members of the 7 Emperors of the Sea: Buggy, Crocodile, and Dracula Mihawk. Originally a company founded by Crocodile and Mihawk, Buggy accidentally usurped the presidency of the organization due to misunderstandings on behalf of his crew, serving as a figurehead leader that led the world government to recognize him as one of the new 4 emperors. After the emperor's system was dissolved due to the lovely majority vote, Buggy and Mihawk became criminals once again. Crocodile, seeing this opportunity, offered Mihawk partnership in his new ideal company, the Cross Guild, which intends to hunt Marines for bounty. In order to finance the formation of this new organization, Crocodile went to Buggy to collect a huge debt the latter owed him, while inadvertently saving his organization Buggy's delivery from a fleet of Marines. Buggy, of course, being unable to pay his large sum of debt, offered to use his persistent fame he earned as Shichibukai and Buggy's delivery to serve as an initial base and advertise free of charge. However, Buggy's staff, completely infatuated with his fame and confusing that Crocodile saved him out of loyalty, created a flyer that had Buggy as the guild's leading member and distributed them around the world before Buggy could review it. Only in One Piece, right? As a result, the world government mistook Buggy as the leader and appointed him as one of the new 4 emperors due to his supposed charisma to recruit even 2 former warlords as subordinates. Crocodile and Mihawk were very unhappy about this and brutally beat Buggy for it. But Mihawk eventually suggested using Buggy as a leadership figure to avoid any unwanted attention from him and Crocodile, and they can eliminate the clown whenever they needed to, which Crocodile agreed to. Buggy then introduced to his subordinates that Crocodile and Mihawk are the directors of this new company. The Cross Guild is able to use its battle power and political influence to issue rewards to Marines, an initiative that seems to be working as indicated by the newspapers. As a result of the bounties, the Marines now have to worry about not only attacks from pirates, but also from civilians and bounty hunters. Due to the popularity of the group, they have received funding from many underworld organizations. The Cross Guild is recognized as a dangerous organization with power and influence equivalent to that of an emperor's crew. This is mainly a result of the strength and infamy of its directors, former Shichibukais and true founders of the company. Sir Crocodile, former president of Baroque Works and user of Suna Suna Nomi, and Dracula Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman and once a rival of Shanks of the 4 emperors. Another factor in the Cross Guild's growing influence is the notoriety of the current emperor Buggy, who is also a former Shichibukai and a former apprentice of Roger's pirates. Not only has he brought a tremendous amount of legitimacy to the organization by supposedly having the wit and charisma to have 2 powerful people working under him, but he has also provided the guild with the infrastructure and manpower needed to run smoothly by integrating his previously previous organization, Buggy's delivery into it. The organization's ability to grant rewards to the Marines was described by Commodore Brand New as a major threat to his naval operations. The reality, however, is that despite Buggy's contributions to the organization, he is neither its true creator nor its sole leader, as the real founders, Mihawk and Crocodile, are in charge of its operations, and Buggy himself is kept as a leader figure in the order to divert the attention of higher officials. Together, the three command absolutely massive bounties that, combined, amount to a total of $8,744,000,000. The fact that all three of these key cross-guild members are former Shichibukais may mean that fans have only seen the tip of the iceberg. It's possible that with the 7 Shichibukai system abolished, the other Shichibukais have also gathered under Buggy's command. Crocodile and Mihawk may have been the only ones to get top billing on that poster. If Buggy really can recruit former Shichibukais, that leaves him with a few possibilities. Edward Weevil seems like he would be a rather easy target due to his lack of agency. He could have used this brute force to force other Shichibukais to join him. Kakamura's fate after his confrontation with Blackbeard remains unknown, although it seems unlikely that he would accept the Emperor's offer to join him. If he somehow escaped from Blackbeard's territory, he may have seen an advantage in joining the other Shichibukais. Good old Hancock seems unlikely at first, but then again, if people as ambitious and proud as Crocodile and Mihawk can join, anything seems possible. Even Trafalgar Law, another former Shichibukai, could end up in this alliance through any twist of fate on Crocodile and Mihawk. Cross Guild has the potential to become a meeting place for all Shichibukai who have been driven out by the world government. No matter how many Shichibukais there are, gathering of them would be an ideal challenge for the Straw Hats. Even though Luffy is now an emperor, the Shichibukais were established primarily as a means of counterbalancing the emperors. Some of them have even fought emperors in the past. Dealing with such a Shichibukai has always been a big task for Luffy, so fighting several of them at once would certainly be a challenge, especially for the rest of his crew. Of course, there is the question of whether all Shichibukais really are up to the task of challenging the Straw Hats. Some of these Shichibukais were defeated by Luffy and his crew before their 2 years of training. The only way they stand a reasonable chance against them now is if they have also been training since their last encounter, considering how Crocodile is being presented as a credible threat. That should be the case. If it is, then maybe they really are as strong as the Marines they had hoped they'd be. With that said, the difficulty of fighting these Shichibukais is precisely what would make a good challenge for the Straw Hats as a crew. While it is obvious that Luffy and a few others have a lot of strength that makes them at least as strong as a Shichibukai, that same pride is hard to argue for the rest of the crew. Defeating the Royal Shichibukais may be their chance to show not only how far they've come, but also to prove to the world that they are worthy of being the Emperor's crew. Fighting Shichibukais would also be a good way to increase the crew's rewards. So far, it seems that Luffy was the only one to increase in bounty after the events of Wano. The rest of the crew, despite fighting former captains with rewards far greater than their own, have not received any reward increases of their own to speak of. If the Straw Hats fight and beat much more infamous pirates like the 7 Warlords, it might give them the recognition they deserve. It's hard to say what the matchups would look like for the battle between the Straw Hats and the 7 Warlords, but there are some good guesses to be made. Zoro would probably end up fighting Mihawk no matter what. After all, he still needs to prove that he is the greatest swordsman in the world by beating him. Sanji would have to fight Crocodile, since he is the only other member of the crew that can use weapon hockey to hurt him. Alternatively, someone else could fight if paired with Nami, who can dampen Crocodile with rain clouds and make him more vulnerable that way. Jinbei may have less of a frontal role in these fights, as he has already proven himself to be on the Shichibukai level. God Usopp can be left to take care of Buggy, the genius jester. That would bolster his own ridiculously overblown reputation. Of course, again, if anyone other than Jinbei defeats any of the Shichibukais, they would be significantly improving their own reputation in the pirate world. Luffy may not get a chance from Buggy, but he may still have something to do if Edward Weevil is actually present. Whoever that person is, he is said to be comparable in strength to Whitebeard in his prime. If Buggy really recruited someone like that, then he should be a valuable opponent for Luffy following Kaido. With all that said, there is always the possibility that none of these fights will happen, at least not all at once. Since One Piece is presumably in its final saga, it may be too much to ask to devote individual arcs to all the remaining antagonists. They can be put together in one big, intricate story where everything is tied together nicely, including the main fights. To that end, the Cross Guild can be the antagonistic force, but also not so impactful that they get their own arc. In any case, Cross Guild seems to be the next opponent of the Straw Hat Pirates, but they would still be very difficult to face on their own. However, if we consider something like the capture of members of the Navy, including now that we know that Koby has been taken by Blackbeard, and we could have Garp perhaps go through the same thing. But with the Cross Guild wanting his head in exchange for a bounty, conflict between them would be inevitable. But what about you? Do you think that we'll have a future clash between the Straw Hats and the Cross Guild? What could happen? Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear it. That's it, my Straw Hat Pirate. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions for a future video, I ask that you don't forget to comment below, because I'll be reading them all, as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from your pirate crew.